I've loved Super Mario Bros. 2 since the day I got it for Christmas in 1988. I love how different it is from the first game, giving us control over multiple characters, a wonderfully varied world, and gameplay that isn't simply recycling from the first game. But if I'm being honest, there's one thing about it that's always left me a little cold: the ending. Now is the time to look away if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to have a frank conversation about the ending of Super Mario Bros. 2. This is 23 Endings, the early years. Even as Mario games go, this is a weird one. It all starts with Mario receiving a mysterious call for help in his dreams. He's told that the once peaceful land of Subcon has been invaded by the evil Wart and his vegetable-hating minions. The next day, Mario is shocked to discover that Luigi, Toad, and even Princess Toadstool all had the same dream. Even stranger, the foursome notices an odd little cave with a long staircase leading to the door from their dreams. They open it and discover that the world of Subcon is real, which I guess means that they're the only ones that can overthrow the tyrannical Wart. Not missing a beat, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the princess run and jump their way through the grassy plains, attempt to avoid the sun in the desert, slip past the snow world, return to the desert, and then climb a bunch of clouds in order to make it to Wart's palace. Once there, they remember what their dreams told them and they start chucking vegetables at the tyrant. It worked, and this is how Super Mario Bros. 2 ends. Now, before we get into any of my criticisms, I just want to say that this is probably the strongest ending of any of the 8-bit Mario games. We'll talk about how it's not very satisfying, but at least there's some thought put into it. It's a fully realized idea that works for the story, even if it ultimately left me a little cold. Let's go ahead and unpack that. As a rule, I've never been a big fan of the "it was all a dream" trope. Look, I know that everybody loves The Wizard of Oz, but that ending always felt like a cop-out to me. It's a cheap way to write yourself out of anything and is rarely satisfying. Super Mario Bros. 2 goes one step further by having a dream inside of a dream. It's one thing for Mario to get a vision inside of a dream and then use that information to help, but having the whole thing end up being a dream has always felt a little cheap. Yeah, I know it's a video game and none of this matters in the long run, but it still comes across as kinda pointless. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Cyril, wasn't this the ending found in the original Doki Doki Panic? Well, you're right to point out that Super Mario Bros. 2 is little more than a retooled version of another Nintendo game. But don't get too ahead of yourself because the two games have a slightly different story and ending. So Doki Doki Panic takes place inside of a book and tells the story of a world that realizes that it can control the weather based on whether it has good or bad dreams. So what they do is create a dream machine that'll make sure that they only have good dreams, thus keeping the land warm and sunny all year round. But things go bad when an evil toad named Mamu invades the land and turns the dream machine into a nightmare machine, forcing the people of Mu to rise up and defeat the tyrant. Now, here's where things get strange. Apparently this book finds its way to an Arabian family with a pet monkey. Unfortunately, the last page of the book gets torn out when siblings Pokey and Picky get into a fight, causing the ending to be erased. This frees Mamu, who grabs the twins and literally pulls them into the book. Now it's up to the pet monkey to assemble a rescue team made up of mom, dad, brother, and girlfriend Lena. They fight their way through the book until eventually making it to Mamu's lair. This is what happens next. For as similar as the ending is, it's also radically different. We still see the main villain's dead body carried away by the happy survivors, as well as the four heroes waving to the people they freed. The difference is that Doki Doki Panic ends with everybody getting spit out of the book, much to the delight of the pet monkey. And while both this and Super Mario Bros. 2 have players running through imaginary worlds, one of them has real-world ramifications and the other is just a dream. From a storytelling perspective, Doki Doki Panic is a lot more satisfying. On the other hand, the Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2 ended with the plumber defeating Bowser and then being told that his long trip of friendship has come to an end. If you ask me, I'd rather have a really exciting dream than forever be stuck in the friend zone. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of 23 Endings, the early years. So here's the question of the day. Does Super Mario Bros. 2 have a good ending? Like I said in the video, the whole "it was all a dream" thing leaves me a little cold. I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Has this ending bothered you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We're down to the final 8 episodes of 23 Endings, so tune in tomorrow for a look at Street Fighter, followed by the silly story behind Gyarus. We're saving the best for last, so do me a favor and click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.